Welcome back to Who's Fly TV, your channel for all things real estate, financial literacy, and self-betterment. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button before we get into anything for today. Give the video a thumbs up and hit the notification bell before we get started, because today is a very special episode because I'm joined by none other than the queen of all trades, Miss Sasha. Go ahead and let them know who you are real quick.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you for having me. My name's Sasha, guys. I'm a realtor and financial coach in the GTA, and I help you achieve your financial goals and sustain, maintain, create generational wealth through home ownership.
Jeez, I like that. Create. Say that one more time.
Create. I don't know. I switch it up all the time, but basically sustain, maintain, but also create first and foremost.
You like that?
Generational wealth.
You freestyle right off the top of the dome.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Got bars on deck. So today's topic is something that I was really anxious to talk about, but I was like, okay, I could talk about this by myself, or I could have someone that I trust and that is a professional in this space to talk about it with me. And I chose the latter, and I chose a really good person to have that conversation with. And I think that this is a really good topic to have because I hear this being talked about so loosely and so avidly, and who better to have talk about it than you? Because so for those of you who don't know, Sasha is someone who's very heavy onto social media. She's always on live, always making multiple posts a day sometimes. And what I love most is I see her market updates on a month-to-month basis. So I want to talk about what I think a lot of people have this affliction with, is a potential crash and where the market's going, because it's so crazy right now. There's no sugarcoating that. The market right now is completely and utterly wild. Like, there's no other way to put it right now.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have this anticipation for a complete crash. Some people say it's going to continue going like this forever because the government is putting in no rules in place to kind of mitigate it. And I'm like, well, let's just have a conversation.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
we're all, at the end of the day, we are all speculating. And I think, some people have more resources and research done than others. And I think it's best to have those conversations so other people can use this as something to kind of learn. So let's start with talking about where the market is right now. I know you do your market updates. What you got for us? Let us know, what's the market like as of right now with March 2022? Yeah,
so we're still in a seller's market right now. And meaning that the sellers are in a more an advantageous position. There is a supply and demand issue still on the rise, or still going on. We just don't have enough inventory to please the demand that currently is going on. We did have a slight interest hike, and you can speak on that more. That's your field. And anytime that anything happens with the Bank of Canada, we notice a little bit of a slight pullback from buyers, just because they want to see what's going on. They want to see, where things settle, and maybe they need to reevaluate their qualifications and their approval amounts and things like that. But right now we're still in a seller's market. As of recently, the last couple days and weeks, we've seen inventory pick up, and I anticipate it to continue to pick up. That's traditional and historical. And although we're not in such of the times, I still think that that pattern will reside. It's currently residing. I can't speak for the years to come, but just in the fact that the spring is on the rise and more people are thinking of listing their home, settling by, or buying or purchasing in the summer and settling by the fall, that's a pattern that we usually see. So inventory is picking up. Now, I want to make it clear that we would need like a complete flood to convert the market into either a balanced or buyer's market. And we're getting a puddle right now. So it is nice to see. I won't lie, it's nice to see, but it's not enough to get excited and think that, we're switching into a balanced or buyer's market. Not yet.
I think that's one thing that I really wanted to highlight, because I think a lot of people were rejoicing or trying to, do the Birdman hand rub, thinking like, oh, it's about to be a buyer's market. Let's go. I'm about to start getting houses for $5. And I'm just like, newsflash, that's not happening.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like you said, there's still that huge discrepancy when it comes to buyers versus sellers, and not just sellers, but also just housing in general.
Yeah.
So there's a shortage with that. And because of that, that's still going to lead people to pay over asking, or still be, houses might not sit on the market for as long because of that shortage, right?
Right.
So although I think, yes, there's things that come into play, like, interest rates and other things that may be factors, but at the end of the day, if we have a straight up supply and demand issue, the problem that we're facing might actually decrease in terms of how aggressive it was. Like you said, the steepness and the slope of the growth in the market. Yeah. However, at the same time, there's still going to be that growth nonetheless. So that's something that I really want to kind of outline to people, because I have this conversation time in and time out. Like, people are just like, they get in my DMs all angry, like, what do you mean there's a bubble, it's gonna pop? And I'm like,
yeah, Yeah.
I wanna side with you, but I just don't see the way it can, with demand being the way it is and supply being as short it is. And there's not gonna be that, I don't see that influx of supply coming in anytime soon. Like you said, we need a flood to make it become balanced at least. Never mind it going to buyer space.
Yeah, and exactly everything that you just said. And yeah, like you just topped it all off. And I think that a lot of people are people, I don't even know if they know what a crash means. Yeah. Like, I think they're thinking like,
it's a buzzword.
Okay, things are just gonna fall apart and properties are gonna be given away for free. Like that, I don't ever see happening. You know, but we never know. Like, never say never, I guess. But I gotta be careful what I say. But yeah. So I think that people are a lot of I guess that, how do I say this? So a lot of the baby boomers, a lot of the older buyers, a lot of maybe the millennial parents bought at a time where they're now in a position to either sell, downsize, or pull equity out and help their children or help their grandchildren purchase. So we're seeing that happening. But what you got to think about is, you know, if the prices are going to continue to rise, which I foresee happening, you know, are you going to be a bystander watching them rise, or are you going to get in here and be one of the people at the risen prices, looking and happy that you bought when you bought type of thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's the perspective I want more
people to take.
Yeah, more people looking to become homeowners to think about, instead of being discouraged, you know, get excited to get in. And I know it's a hard time, but you know, you can do it.
I agree. I don't want to overlook the fact that it is difficult and that it is expensive. We are by no means saying that, you know, this is cheap, you should be able to get in right now. No, it's still difficult, it's still expensive. And what I want people to understand is, yes, if prices keep rising, less people might be able to see that as a feasible or an affordable price. But the way things are structured, and I want to get into a little bit about the interest rates that you mentioned earlier. So interest rates, the Bank of Canada increased their interest rates, but the stress test is still the stress test.
Yeah.
So the qualifying rate that's being used to help people get properties is the same. So even though the rates that they're going to be paying on a variable rate or even a fixed rate are going to be slightly higher, overall they can still qualify for said property. So it's tough to really say that, oh, people are going to all of a sudden turn their heads completely away from the real estate market because, yes, the Bank of Canada increased their interest rate by 0.25%. It's not going to deter the people that were already motivated to buy in the first place.
Right.
And since demand was so high in comparison to supply, even if a couple of people fall out of that demand number, the number is still so egregiously high above supply that people are still going to pounce at those prices and still pounce at real estate. So there is no steep decline in the amount of people looking to get into real estate because of a 0.25% interest rate.
Good perspective, yeah.
So I think it's something that people really need to take into consideration until like maybe qualification rates change, and then people can straight up be told that you can't afford this property. Then that's when it'll be a problem, because there are people who are like, okay, as long as I can qualify, I'm good.
Yeah.
So if that hasn't changed, then not much has changed from the scope of demand versus supply.
Very true.
So I think it's really something that people should really keep in mind. And like Sasha was saying, if you can get into the market and you're just here waiting by the wayside for a crash to take place or for a dip to take place, maybe it's in your best interest to not think that way and think from a different perspective. Because like we're saying, if prices continue rising, you're going to wait until some sort of a dip, but that dip would still be higher than...
Yeah, and it also can actually cost you, not just because the prices are going up, but the amount of money you're actually possibly losing in the appreciation of the property as well.
Exactly.
So people will hold back to wait, but then they don't realize, like, if you had purchased, like, some people are holding back not because they can't afford or they can't qualify, but because they're not getting the dream home, right? And then they're waiting for that perfect home or for that price point that they want to translate into something that they want, instead of buying the 1-bedroom condo on the side and renting and allowing that to build equity and using that as an investment to, you know, build and start. You know, they're waiting for that perfect time opportunity for the perfect home, and that if they had gotten in, they could have made so much more. You know what I mean? I don't want to get too complicated, but you can possibly be losing by waiting as well. Yeah, basically.
Exactly. It's true, because you're, instead of you know, achieving and exacting that appreciation for yourself, you're actually buying against it by waiting. Whether you buy now or you buy later, that appreciation is going to take place with or without you.
That's it.
So I'd much rather be on the good side of appreciation than on the outside looking in. So I think that's something that's really key. So I gotta ask the $1 million question. Where do you see real estate going in the next year? I mean, I got I'm very straightforward. I'm telling people, I'm like, yo, listen, it has been crazy over the past 2 years over the pandemic. I think it's been accelerated, of course. But I tell people, look at the facts. Yeah. Immigration is
alone,
set to be the highest it's ever been. Yeah. For the next 3 years,
which is crazy. Yeah.
And those people need a roof over their head. Right. They're going to pay whatever the price is for any place that is available. Yeah. And we already have a shortage in supply. So with that being said, we're blatantly showing that demand is going to increase. And we've also seen that supply is not increasing at the same rate. So we do have a problem on our hands, and I don't see how there's a direct fix for that problem anytime soon. There are certain things being talked about in terms of like maybe down payment requirement for rentals being increased, but nonetheless, there has been ways to maneuver beforehand. I think people are creative enough to find ways around it now. And even if there is somewhat of a solution to kind of decrease the demand or decrease the ability for people to purchase that are maybe purchasing more than one for themselves, will that completely restore a balanced market?
Yeah, they try to do little like things like that, like integrating like a foreign buyer's tax and like little things that they try to do. I shouldn't say little, but ways to implement, you know, a cooling effect if possible. So for me, I anticipate the prices to continue to rise. Now you can zoom in on the market or you can zoom out, right? There's different trends. When you're looking out, I do think it will continue to go up. But when you zoom in, I think they'll be little dips. Now the dips are not drastic enough to be like, damn. Yeah. But they're enough that anybody watching this should be tied to a realtor, tied to a professional mortgage specialist like Roy, tied to people that can let you know what you need to do to be ready. And if you're not in the position to jump when we say jump or go when we say go, that's fine. But what are you doing to get to that position so that when we do say that in 2023, 4, 5, you're ready then? You know what I mean? Because right now I have buyers with the inventory increase that have been ready and prepared and are now taking advantage of the window of execution, right? And it's important to educate, you know, to just, you may not be buying, but reach out to a realtor like myself who will educate you and you know, invest into you and pour information into you that will help you when you're ready. I do that at no cost. Like I love to show people what's going on in the market, right? You can tune into my market updates, like Roy said, right? But long story short, I think that the prices are going to continue to go up. I do think that there needs to be things. I'm gonna tell you guys facts. I am on the selling side, but I do think that it's crazy. I do think that it's crazy. And for first-time home buyers, I do think that there needs to be more things to help, more down payment assistance, things like that to help. Because it's becoming a crisis. I think the rental market there's a looming crisis coming and going on with that. But we just don't know what's gonna happen, but I do anticipate prices to go up, continue to go up. But I want everyone to stay encouraged to create plans and get in on it. It can be discouraging, it can be daunting, but if there's a will, there's a way. So reach out and let's make it happen.
I like that. I think what's perfectly said. I think I said this off air as we're like, I was joking around, but it's facts. Like you gotta stay ready so you don't gotta get ready. Because like you said, right now we're experiencing that window of opportunity. And if you weren't already ready to execute right now, you're going to be scrambling to kind of make that move right now. And then but before you know, by the time you are ready, because you're scrambling now, that window might be shut in 2-3 weeks or months from now when it took you to kind of get yourself ready into position to actually make a move, right? So that's why it's key. And I talk to people all the time and I'm just like, you know, I stress the importance of, okay, let me just do a pre-approval, because like you said, I do that for free. Like to get a pre-approval, I'm not getting paid. That's fine. I just want to make sure that you're setting yourself up for to be in a position where you can make a move should you see the opportunity. And right now we're seeing, like you said, it's not a flood, it's a little puddle, but it's an opportunity nonetheless. So I feel like it's really about, you know, being on top of your P's and Q's, having that, you know, preparation in place so that when you do see that opportunity, or maybe you have to work towards being that prepared for that next window of opportunity, and then you can execute. Because like you said, when we zoom out now and we're looking back on, you know, March 2022 in 2 years from now or a year from now, we're like, damn, that opportunity came and went and I wasn't ready. I should have executed, but I wasn't ready. Right. So that's what we have to say in regards to where the market's at right now today and where we see it going. The rest is up to you. You've got to take those next steps and reach out to the professionals like Sasha and I to, you know, get your pre-approval in order, see what the market is like with Sasha, and make sure you're staying on top of that so that you can see when's the best time to make that move. And then we can take it from there, right? So before we head out, I want to give you the opportunity to go ahead and shout yourself out, let them know who you is and how they can get in contact with you.
For sure, guys. It's Sasha Vela Realty on all social platforms. You can find me. I am a mentor and educator for new realtors, experienced realtors that want to take their business to the next level. So you can sign up and find out more about those programs at www.themodernagentacademy.ca. And you can head over to my profile if you are in need of financial coaching, need friendly real estate advice, anything like that. The link in the bio. Set up a consultation and we can go from there.
Jeez, I like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So on my way out, before I tell y'all to subscribe and like the video, as I always do, I want to make sure you guys check out the Cognitive Capital podcast. We had the lovely Sasha Vela come here, drop all of her gems, not just on real estate, but also balancing business and motherhood, also getting started, how she found her way through this place, and also her journey to success and where she's at right now, where she plans to take it from here. So make sure you guys check that out on all streaming platforms as well as on YouTube too. Until then, make sure you guys stay tuned and we stay locked in. All right. Peace.
Later.